Okay, so good day everyone. Today we'll be discussing basic aerodynamic principles, but the part two. Okay, so we'll be dealing with the second part of our previous discussion. So I believe we have already discussed the speed of sound. Sorry, I think we have already discussed the first five equations, which is continuity equation, momentum equation, Bernoulli's equation, isentropic relations, and as well as the energy equation. Now, as I previously said, for this video, we'll be dealing with the speed of sound, the Mach number, and as well as application of these principles in terms of the idea of wind tunnels. So we'll have a brief introduction of what our wind tunnels are. Okay, so going back, yeah. So let's first begin with what we call the speed of sound. So the speed of sound, remember, which is faster, light or sound? 'Di ba? Mas mabilis si light kaysa kay sound. Kasi 'di ba if good analogy of this one is 'di ba yung kidlat. Kapag kumidlat, ano yung nauuna? Yung liwanag ng kidlat or yung kulog? 'Di ba always nauuna yung liwanag ng kidlat and then eventually will come yung rumbling or yung kulog na naririnig natin, 'di ba? Now, why is speed of sound naman? Paano siya na if we are relating it sa kidlat, then how does it relate or how is it useful when it comes sa ano natin, sa aerodynamics, 'di ba? So, um, check out these figures sa baba. So this is the impact of or the effect rather ng speed of sound when it comes sa isang moving object, no? So we have here, for example, naka-stop lang siya. Let's just get our pointer. Ayan. So dito naka-stop lang siya, 'di ba? Yung let yung circles be around it, around the object be the pressure waves. So kapag naka-stop, stagnant lang. So everything is at equal. They're equally distant sa isa't isa or we can safely say na parang this is no other than nakatayo ka lang sa gitna ng water. Ganun siya. Okay? So, now, moving on, we have here, kapag subsonic naman daw, this is how it looks like. So, nagkakaroon ka ng um, movement and yung pressure waves mo are nako-compress on one side, 'di ba? So, they're being compressed on one side. And then, by this, ito yung sinasabi natin yung density of the air is negligible. Kasi, in this case, wala pa siyang total compression na nangyayari. So, these are just parang minor compressions lang. And the next one, we have here what we call the speed of sound. So, kapag speed of sound na siya, or when we reach the speed of sound, yung boundaries ng waves na to is nagdidikit-dikit na. Alright? So, kapag nagdikit-dikit na sila, you have already reached the speed of sound. Kasi, ano na equal na sila sa isa't isa eh. And then, once na you exceeded the speed of sound, dito na ngayon papasok yung supersonic. So, dito, nabasag na natin yung sound barrier dahil sa compression waves. So, itong malaking cone na to, kaya siya nagkakaganyan, that's because we are already breaking the speed of sound. So, yung pressure natin is drastically naiiwan na due to heavy compression dito sa frontal area. Ayun. So, it was like that kung bakit concerned tayo when it comes sa speed of sound. I think, etong si speed of sound mas may in-depth pa natin 'to when it comes sa supersonic applications. However, for fundamentals, we'll be dealing this sa ano, sa compressible equations natin, sa compressible flow equations. Okay? So, yeah, that is the idea of speed of sound. Now, to properly define it, no, speed of sound is defined as the sound distance traveled per unit time by a sound wave, by a single sound wave, no? Uh, as it propagates through an elastic medium. So, yung elastic medium na sinasabi natin dito is simply, for example, yung air, 'di ba? The aircraft or yung eroplano natin, saan ba siya gumagalaw? Sa air, 'di ba? So that is what we mean by that. Now, also take note that the speed of sound varies per substance. So for example, the speed of sound ng air might be different sa speed of sound. I mean yung air, let's take air as nandito sa Earth. Then let's say application lang 'no. So gumawa tayo ng ano, nakagawa tayo ng aircraft that flies through the atmosphere ng let's say Mars. So hindi air yung nasa Mars, 'no? So it's a different substance. Therefore, we cannot say na same ng speed of sound si Earth tsaka si Mars kapag nagpalipad tayo dun, 'no? So that is what we mean by that. So paano ba siya nagva-vary? It's heavily dependent on the changes in temperature. Because we have a trend whereas yeah, as temperature increases, so does yung speed of sound natin, of which is properly defined by this equation. Na A is equals to the square root of kRT. Now, do we remember K is your specific heat ratio, R is your specific gas constant, and T is your temperature. 'Di ba? Do you remember this one? Now, um another equation, which is definitely the same lang naman, is this one. Saan ba 'to nanggaling? Bakit, sir, bakit po K is multiplied sa quantity ng ratio ng pressure and density? So this is from the equation of state, 'di ba? So T is equals to P over rho R. Then you have R here, so magka-cancel siya dito. And matitira na lang sa'yo is P over rho. Now, at SSLC, if we are going to compute it, no, at standard sea level, the speed of sound is said to be around 340 meters per second. Now, how does this vary? Bakit, how is temperature relevant to the change in the speed of sound? Now, remember, temperature is related with pressure and density. So, as pressure increases, temperature increases. And as density is much higher, when you have a higher density for a specific gas in a given volume, mas mataas, mas sensitive siya sa changes in pressure. So therefore, connecting these ideas, we can say na kapag yung density natin is lower, when the air density is lower, mas mababa yung temperature changes natin or mas mababa basically si temperature, 'di ba? This is proven sa standard atmosphere natin. Do you remember that when we reach higher altitudes, we gain uh consistent reduction in density. Ito yung sinasabi nating naminipis yung hangin. So now dahil mas manipis yung hangin, mas madaling gumalaw, no? So another way of visualizing this change is for example, nakalubog kayo sa ano, nakalubog kayo sa pool na ng tubig at sa pool ng honey. 'Di ba si honey mas viscous siya, mas mataas yung density niya at mas mabigat siya na fluid. Ngayon 'pag gumalaw kayo dun sa honey, mas mahirap gumalaw compared sa tubig, 'di ba? That is what we mean by this one. Dahil kapag mas mabigat yung air natin, yung medium natin, mas mahirap or it requires us to have a higher value ng speed of sound compared sa mas manipis na hangin whereas mas madali tayong makakagalaw. So, yeah, ganun siya. I hope nakuha niyo yung analogy, no? So that is speed of sound. Now, I think let's have an application nito. Let's have one example. So, speed of sound. So, sabi dito, the ambient temperature at which the aircraft is flying is 300 Kelvin. Now, let's assume though that the specific heat ratio or K is equal to 1.38. The question is, what is the speed of sound? Okay? So, let's list down our given. So, binigyan tayo ng temperature which is 300 K and a specific heat ratio of 1.38. Required is our speed of sound. Now, we just plug in the values dun sa square root of KRT, no? So we ano dun, the quantity of the square root of 1.38 multiplied by 287.08 multiplied by 300K is equals to 344.7479 meters per second. So, 'di ba? Yun siya. So 344 meters per second yung speed of sound natin. Okay? So that is how we solve speed of sound problems. So usually, wala naman problem na separated talaga si speed of sound. It's always integrated sa isang let's say compressible or incompressible na problem. Then you are going to be asked, what is the speed of sound at this section? What is the speed of sound when you have 2 points of ganito? Then usually ano yung speed of sound? Or did it break the speed of sound? Ganun yung mga tanong lagi. So mas makakita tayo ng sample problems na ito. Alright? So again, that is speed of sound. Let's move on to the next one. We have what we call Mach number. So, si Mach number, I think narinig niyo na 'to for maybe more than once in your life, um, especially nung ano niyo, nung undergrad niyo. Ay sorry, undergrad, nung associate niyo. And what is Mach number ba? Mach number is the ratio of the speed of a body to the speed of sound in a given yung speed of sound in a given medium, ha. Okay? So, the use of Mach number is to primarily determine whether anong type of flow do we have. We determine which type of flow does or the problem exists or the object is currently at, 'di ba? So, if you can recall, when we talk about incompressible flow, the Mach number is less than 0.3. And then kapag um greater than 0.3 saka siya nagiging compressible. Kasi 'di ba, meron kasi tayong tinatawag na Mach number speed regimes. So we have subsonic, transonic, supersonic, hypersonic, and sonic. Ganun siya. So Mach number is unitless. Okay, so the way na para makuha natin 'to is we use yung velocity, this one, yung velocity of the object, tas i-ratio natin siya dun sa speed of sound of the current medium. Ganun lang. So V over square root of KRT, we will get the Mach number, no? So again, unitless po si Mach number. Ayan. So ito yung sinasabi ko, no? So we have here, kapag yung Mach number natin is less than 1, it is subsonic. Kapag less than 0.3, dun daw papasok si incompressible flow or what we also call as low speed subsonic. Kapag greater than or equal naman sa 0.3, compressible flow na siya. And also what we call the high speed subsonic. Okay, so kapag equal to 1 naman, we call that as sonic. Kapag greater than 1 na siya, that is supersonic. Kapag greater than 5, hypersonic. Now, meron din tayong tinatawag kasi na transonic. Si transonic naman, that is in between Mach 0.8 hanggang 1.2 yata or 1.1, no? So, that is another speed para sa atin. Now, given this, alam na natin kung ano ba si Mach number. I think we can have a sample problem, no? Ayan. So, an aircraft is flying with a velocity of 90 meters per second. Compute for the Mach number if the pressure and density is at standard sea level conditions. Assume that K is equals to 1.4. Right? So, again, we list down our given. So, sabi, ang pressure and density daw is at SSLC. Ano daw ang Mach number? So, we solve for M muna. So, eto kasi, ang sabi lang sa atin, pressure and density. Actually, hindi ko na-list down si density, but density is equals to 1.225 kilogram per cubic meter. And then, we solve for M by using yung other equation. We can also solve naman for the temperature para makuha natin si RT. And we also know din naman na sabi, uh, no, actually, we cannot assume na yung RNT natin is at standard sea level conditions because ang sabi lang naman is yung pressure and density daw ang nasa standard sea level condition. In this case, we follow as much as we can dun sa problem. So, saka na tayo mag-assume, no? Pag walang-wala na talaga. So, in this one, plug lang natin yung values. Ayan siya. So, 90 meters per second, plug natin 1.4 multiplied by 11325 divided by 1.225. And we will get this value na Mach 0.2645. So, 'di ba? If you can recall, when we say that the velocity is less than 100 meters per second, it is still incompressible. And yung nakuha natin na value is also less than 0.3, which is 0.2645. No? So that just proves na ito ay nasa subsonic. So consistent naman yung results. Okay? So that's it for the Mach number. So far, we have already dealt with items 1 to 7. And these are the foundations of the basic aerodynamic principles. And yung last na natitira natin will be wind tunnels. Tama? So, wind tunnels is actually an application nitong lahat. Alright? So, without further ado, I think we can begin. So, wind tunnels. So, wind tunnels are devices used for testing aircraft and its components under controlled airstreams given laboratory conditions, no? So, ibig sabihin nun, nakakapag-test tayo ng aircraft under controlled airstream. Because in reality, di ba, we cannot get a controlled airstream. Di ba? So, for example, bumuo ka ng aircraft. You want to test it under conditions na ang speed natin will be, or how will it react kapag ang speed is at most Mach 0.3. So, mahirap naman siya ma-produce, 'di ba? Especially kung Mach 1, no? Sabihin natin yung Cessna or yung Tampico, 'di ba? Gusto mo i-subject, gusto mo makita yung reactions niya at Mach 1. So, paano mo ipo-produce yun? Eh, hindi naman makaka-reach talaga ng Mach 1 yung aircraft. So, we use wind tunnels. So, si wind tunnels, uh, we can create varying speeds ng airflow. So, we can either have, gusto mo Mach 1, gusto mo ganitong speed lang, we can do that. And the good thing about it is, controlled yung conditions natin. Laboratory condition siya. Alright? So, wind tunnels are ground-based experimental facilities designed to produce flows of air which simulate natural flows occurring outside the laboratory. So, yun yung sinasabi ko lang din kanina. Okay? So this is how it looks like, no? Um, for example, in this figure, we have a subject na isang model aircraft. So scale down lang siya because in this testing phase, we can scale up, no? We can upscale yung results nito and expect na similar lang din yung lalabas. Gano'n siya. Kaya maliit lang yung ginagamit natin because in reality, ang hirap naman nun, no? So gagawa ka ng sobrang laki na wind tunnel na kasya yung isang buong aircraft. Oo, 'no? So, sa aircraft mahirap siya gawin, pero sa automobile and sa automotive applications natin nagagawa na siya, 'no? Alright. So, dito nakikita niyo tine-testing siya, 'no, may bino-blow sa kanya na air. So, 'yan yung flow vis natin. So, tawag natin diyan is flow visualization because we want to see how flow affects or paano ba yung flow properties dun sa aircraft natin or dun sa model. Tas makikita niyo din diyan na parang tinitilt yung aircraft that is being tested for different flying conditions, no? At different angles of attack, descent, so on and so forth. Diyan natin nakikita yung um, aerodynamic properties niya because we're testing it, di ba? Alright. So, other applications include, for example, ito yung sinasabi ko na automobile, no? So, during the development of the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, no? Um, I think this was commended, no? Due to its due to its aerodynamic properties. So sa ano naman, 'di ba, fun fact lang, right? So if sa aircraft we are measuring for lift, no? We want lift all the time. Sa vehicles naman, we want the opposite. We want instead of lift, we want downforce. So we want to push or keep the feet. Parang ano siya, eh, you want to always keep your feet on the ground, gano'n siya, eh. So, how do we keep the car how do we stick the car to the road, gano'n. Parang hindi siya umaangat, hindi siya lumilipad, gano'n, 'di ba? Kasi imagine niyo, on high speed applications, bigla kayong hinangin sa ilalim, no? So, that can cause a flip. Kaya niyang baliktarin yung sasakyan mo in that case, right? So, another way of using 'to, 'no, so medyo meron din tayong mga unconventional applications, 'no, na I think, siguro may nakita na kayo ba, for example ito, they tested the aerodynamics ng isang cheeseburger. Yes, a cheeseburger, 'yan, ta's kita diyan sa ano natin, 'di ba? And then, wala lang, they just wanted to see paano magre-react yung cheeseburger when it's exposed to, flow, 'no? Yeah. So eto si flow visualization and si flow simulations natin, this can be done, 'no, sa software na din. For example, I think this is tested in SolidWorks, 'no. So this is the aerodynamics of a cow naman, gano'n. Alright? So we have various types of wind tunnels. You can group them according to how much speed or the range of speed that they can produce or what they're capable with. So una, we have what we call low speed wind tunnels. So low speed from the word itself, pang low speed subsonic lang siya. Then we have transonic wind tunnels, which is yung in between 0.8 and 1.2. Supersonic wind tunnels and hypersonic wind tunnels. Now, sir, bakit wala pong sonic wind tunnels? Because in reality, we cannot create a flow na consistent na Mach 1 siya. Kaya gumagamit tayo ng transonic wind tunnels na lang kasi it's within that range, 'di ba? Kasi kung supersonic yung gagamitin mo, that's already greater than 1. That's yung Mach number of your velocity ng air is greater than 1 compared to transonic na you will start at 0.8, then you can speed up your air hanggang makarating siya ng 1 and you might still have a little room, no? Para para makarating ka na 1.2. So this is actually good for testing um aircraft na we are going to subject to high speed to supersonic speeds. So dito natin makikita yung transition. Ano ba yung magiging reactions during transition, no, for the flow. Alright? So that is wind tunnel types. Now I think we can discuss yung parts naman. So general parts, no? Let's just discuss yung geometry. Alright? So sa geometry, um we have here what we call an intake, the test section, and the diffuser. Si intake is also known as yung tinatawag nating compressor, and then si exhaust naman nandun yung diffuser. So these two are opposite with each other, no? So sa intake, if you can recall, um, if you can recall continuity equation, yung idea na diniscuss ko, 'di ba when we reduce the area of, sabihin natin sa isang flow, at another point ni-reduce natin yung area, the velocity will increase. That's their relationship, 'di ba? So, kapag lumit yung area, tataas yung velocity. Kapag lumaki yung area, babagal si velocity. So, wind tunnels are also subject to continuity and mass flow, 'di ba? So, dito, yung mass flow dapat natin at the intake must also be equal sa exhaust. Ang pinagkakaiba lang nila dito is yung area and velocity. Doon sila nagva-vary, 'di ba? Now, that is sa intake. Yung intake tinatawag natin tong converging duct. Converging, so ibig sabihin, lumiliit, lumiliit ang area. Therefore, velocity will increase. Okay? So next, if we have an intake, we also have the test section. So si test section is also what we call the throat. At the throat or at the test section, ang speed natin is equal to Mach 1. Alright? Ulitin ko. Kapag sa test section, ang speed natin dito is Mach 1. Now, dito sa test section, dito natin nilalagay yung object na gusto natin i-test. Ganun siya gamitin. Alright? Kaya 'di ba parang converging tapos straight lang na figure tapos diverge na. Ganun kasi siya. Alright? So ulitin ko. Test section or throat, Mach number is equal to 1. Now, at the exhaust naman, opposite of the intake, meron siyang tinatawag na diverging duct or itself is already a diverging duct. So, ang ginagawa naman dito, kasi generally, ang function niya is pinabilis natin yung air para sa test section. Now, kailangan natin pabagalin yung air kasi hindi lang natin siya pwedeng i-duct palabas. Kasi imagine mo, how are you going to dump 340 meters per second the air? That's crazy kasi ang lakas nun. Masyadong ano yun. Imagine mo nakatapat lang sa labas. So, you have velocities of air that's already almost close to breaking the sound barrier. Ganun siya. Alright? So, ayun. That is the importance of why do we need to slow down the air. Kung ano, again, kung ano yung ginamit natin, dapat ganun din natin siya ilalabas. Ganun sa wind tunnel. Alright? Now, ito yung tinatawag nating simple analysis. So, dito, meron tayong velocities na binigay, meron tayong densities and areas. So, ito ay ano to? This is relevant sa mass flow equation kasi 'di ba rho AV, remember? Now, yung V dito is capital V which is volume, right? Ay, wait lang. I think for this reference, I think this is velocity. Pero this is supposedly volume kasi capital V, right? So, let's just assume na ito yung capital V natin. So, meron akong volume 1, velocity pala, sorry. Velocity to, sorry. Ano ba reference to? Ay, okay. So, this is velocity. Okay? So, rho AV is mass flow rate, remember? So, rho AV at point 1, rho AV at point 2, and rho AV at point 3, or mass flow at point 1, point 2, and point 3. Now, we have what we call here yung parts, no? So, si nozzle, yun yung nagpapaliit. Ang opposite niya is si diffuser. Tas the section and setting chamber. Now, sa setting chamber, kapag nakita ng setting chamber, tapos hinanapan kayo ng velocity at the reservoir, at the reservoir. Kapag may reservoir kayo, that is automatically your point 1. The velocity at the reservoir is always 0. Right? So, sulat natin siya dito para madali siyang tandaan. Yan. The velocity at the reservoir is 0. Sorry, that's 0 ha. Alright. So, the section diffuser, tas ito. Now, following the idea ng mass flow rate and the law of conservation of mass, we can derive the following equations from the mass flow rate. No? So, inlet, the section, and exhaust. So, ito, let's say hinahanap natin si velocity at point 1. Given tayo ng V2, A2, at A1. Then we can, interchangeable to. So, for example, V2 naman yung hinahanap natin. Magiging ano na to? V1, A1, A2. Para mahanap natin si V2. Which is usually that's the case. Ito siya. Actually, ito pala siya. And then, kapag V3 naman, ito yung sinasabi ko in the previous discussion that we can have multiple points. Right? So, ito siya. So, V3 is equals to A2, A3, V2. Ganun lang po siya. That is the wind tunnel. Ganito po yung pag-analyze natin ng equations, ha? Yung gagamitin natin ng equations. Now, next one. Another equation that we use sa ating wind tunnels is the Bernoulli's equation. No? So, the pressure at various locations sa wind tunnel natin is related sa velocity. So, through Bernoulli's equation, makukuha natin siya. And, kung supersonic naman, ang gagamitin naman natin is si isentropic. Si energy equation naman. Kasi 'di ba remember, energy equation is the compressible Bernoulli's equation. Alright? Malinaw ba? So, ayun lang. So, in this case, pinakita ko lang na example is si Bernoulli's equation. Now, ano ba yung relations of properties dito? So, the relations of properties is una, remember, ang pressure is inversely proportional to velocity. 'Di ba? Pero I think na-discuss ko na 'to nung prelim, no? Na when we have a lower velocity, yung pressure natin ay mas mataas. 'Di ba kinompare natin 'to last time I think sa traffic. So kapag traffic, mataas yung pressure. So traffic ng kotse So kapag traffic, taas yung pressure kasi mababa yung velocity. Hindi kayo masyadong gumagalaw, 'di ba? Bumper to bumper traffic, mataas ang pressure. Now, pressure is directly proportional to temperature. Same din nung diniscuss ko last time na kapag nasa traffic ka, umiinit yung ulo mo. 'Di ba? Ganun siya. So, pressure is directly proportional to temperature. Next, pressure is also directly proportional with the changes sa density na sinasabi natin. Why? Because dito naman, mas masikip, 'di ba? So, kung mas mabigat yung fluid natin, yung pressure changes natin might also be greater. And then lastly, area is inversely proportional to velocity. Ito naman yung diniscuss natin last time, 'di ba? So, kapag bumaba yung area, bibilis si velocity. Kapag tumaas naman yung area, babagal naman yung velocity natin. Alright? So, that's it for the relationships of properties. Now, we can get this equation, no? Kasi madalas kapag pinapahanap yung, let's say, the velocity at point 2. So, this is an equation derived from Bernoulli's equation. Alright? So, ito yung wind tunnel equations natin. So, itong V2 squared 2 over rho P1 minus P2 plus V1 is already from Bernoulli's na dinerive. Tapos, ito naman V1A to A1 is from mass flow. Now, kapag sinubstitute ko si V1 dito, kasi for example, walang binigay na V1, ang binigay lang ay area, we can do this para ma-derive itong equation na to na V2 is equals to the square root of the 2 times the pressure difference over density multiplied sa quantity ng 1 minus the area ratio squared. Ganun siya. Alright? So, pag sinabing pressure difference sa problem, ganito kinukuha yun ha. P1 minus P2. For area ratio naman, A2 over A1. Pero kapag wind tunnel nozzle contraction, A1 over A2. Kasi di ba dito, pag sinabi mong contraction, gaano ang inilaki? Di ba? That is when we meet by contract. So, kapag area ratio, A2 over A1 naman, A2 over A1. So, gaano ba kalaki yung changes sa area? Kapag nozzle contraction naman, ganun. Okay? Next. Alam na natin yung equations. Let's discuss measuring equipment sa loob ng wind tunnel. Okay? So, for wind tunnels, uh, we have what we call the manometer. So, si manometer is ginagamit natin. Actually, specifically, this is the YouTube manometer. So, si YouTube manometer, from the shape itself, no, let U. So, ginagamit natin siya pang measure ng pressure difference between sections. No? So, paano natin nakukuha yung pressure difference? Pressure difference, nakukuha natin siya by the change in height. So, yung change in height nung one side sa other side, makukuha natin yung pressure dito sa P2. Now, pag nakuha na natin si height difference, we can now solve for pressure using the equation na dP is equals to rho GH or P1 minus P2 is equals sa rho GH. Whereas yung P natin will be yung pressure values. Then, rho is yung density ng fluid, G is yung gravitational constant, and H is yung height difference. Now, yung density of fluid, tandaan ninyo, this is not the density of air. This is the density of the fluid inside. So, at times, merong water na ginagamit. Minsan, meron naman mercury. Kaya di ba remember, sa SLC, meron tayong inches of mercury at millimeters of mercury. Si mmHg at si inches Hg. Dito kasi siya ginagamit. Alright? So, ayun. Kapag meron ka daw difference na 29.92 inches of mercury, ibig sabihin the difference between the two sections is 1 atmosphere. Right. So, moving on. Ganyan lang siya ha. Ayan. I think we can have a problem. Ayan. So, in a low-speed subsonic wind tunnel, one side of a mercury manometer is connected to the setting chamber and the other side is connected to the test section. The contraction ratio of the nozzle, ang contraction ratio is 8 over A1 is equals to sa 1 over 15. The reservoir pressure and temperature are P1 is equals to 1.1 atmospheres and T1 is equals to 300 K respectively. When the tunnel is running, the height difference between the two columns of mercury is 10 centimeters. The density of liquid mercury is 1.36 times 10 raised to 4 kilograms per cubic meter. Now, we calculate the airflow. Ito yung question. Ano daw yung airflow velocity at na connected sa setting chamber at sa test section? So, ibig sabihin, you already have a YouTube manometer dito. Now, yung contraction ratio daw is, or yung 8 over A1 is equals to sa 1 over 15. Yung reservoir pressure and temperature daw is 1.1 atmospheres at 300 K. Then yung tunnel daw, yung height difference between the two columns is 10 centimeters. Habang yung density niya is 1.36 times 10 raised to 4 kilogram per cubic meter. Ang tanong, calculate the airflow velocity into the section. Alright, so first thing we do 'di ba? Just like all problems, ang lagi kong sinasabi is we list down our given. So ito siya. I have here yung area ratio natin, ay sorry, yung contraction ratio. We have our temperature, we have our density, sorry, yung change in height, the density of our fluid sa loob ng manometer, and the pressure at point 1. Now, ang required sa atin is the V2. Ngayon, since this is the first time na isa-solve natin tong problem na to, let's list down our steps kung paano siya isa-solve, right? So number one, ayan, sabi ko lang kanina, list down the given. Number two, standardize the units. Number three, solve for the density of the air using given reservoir conditions. Number four, solve natin yung pressure difference. And number five, para makuha natin si velocity mismo. Now, sir, di ba sabi mo last time, check yung velocity for type of flow para alam namin kung ano gagamitin na equation. Now, if you read the problem, nakalagay low speed subsonic wind tunnel. So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabi nating low speed subsonic, incompressible. Correct? 'Di ba? Yun yung definition natin kanina. Kapag sinabing low speed subsonic, therefore, is incompressible flow equations yung gagamitin natin. Okay? So, yun. Let's begin. So, again, ito yung given, required, solution. So, the first step is we standardize our units. So, 1.1 atmospheres, gawin natin siyang pressure, and we will get the value na 111,457.5 Newton per meter squared. Or, simply, pascals, di ba? Yan. Then, yung change in height natin is now centimeters. Ginawa ko lang siyang meters para uniform na. Now, na-standardize na natin yung units natin. I think we can now solve for the density of air naman. Kasi wala siyang binigay na density of air sa problem. Ang binigay niya lang ay density ng fluid dun sa manometer, which is mercury. No? So, rho 1 is equals to P1 over RT. So, this is equation of state. So, kunin natin siya using equation of state and we will get the value ng density ng air natin will be 1.294 kilogram per cubic meter. Alright? So, next one. Solve naman natin si pressure difference. Kasi wala pa tayong pressure difference eh. Alam lang natin na meron tayong pressure pero wala tayong P2. Meron tayong P1. So, P1 minus P2 is equals to rho GH. Plug natin yung values na P1 over P1 minus P2, 1.294 kilogram per cubic meter times 9.81 times 0.1. Makuha na natin yung pressure difference. Alright? So, sir, bakit hindi na lang natin ginamit yung 1.1 ATM? So, mamaya, may kita natin. Bakit? Alright? So, nakuha na natin si pressure difference. Let's now proceed in solving yung velocity at point 2. We already have what we need, no? So, si point 2, sorry, hindi siya A2, typo lang yan. So, that is V2. Diba ito yan? So, ito yung equation na dinerive natin kanina. Now, we plug in the values. So, 2 times yung 133.41. I think, kulang yun, Wala, yan lang yung difference, right? So, pressure difference, 13341.6 pascals divided by 1.294 kilogram per cubic meter multiplied sa quantity ng 1 minus 1 over 15 squared. And we will get the value na ang V2 natin is 143. Ayan. So, this is actually, ayan. So, again, display ko lang ulit. So, V2, final answer natin will be 143.912 meters per second. So, that is already our answer for this question. No? Kasi nakuha na natin si V2. So, I think we can have another one. So, referring to the figure below, consider a low-speed subsonic tunnel designed with a reservoir cross-section of A1 is 2 meters squared and the test section is 0.5 squared. The pressure in the test section is 1 atmosphere. Assume constant density equal to SSLC na density. Then, the question is, calculate the pressure required in the reservoir P1 necessary to have a flow of 40 meters per second in the test section. Then, we calculate the mass flow through the wind tunnel. Okay? So again, mahabang tanong na naman siya. Let's break it down. No? Para makita natin yung given natin lalo. So, we are asked to solve for the pressure required sa P1 para magkaroon ng flow velocity na 40 seconds sa V2. Then, also asked din sa atin is the mass flow all throughout the wind tunnel. Again, so yun. Step 1 is to list down our given. We have A1, 2 meters squared, A2, 0.5 squared. P1 is equals to, ayan. So, actually, hindi pala P1 to, no? Wait, correct ko lang. Ayan. So, again, ulitin ko lang, no? So, we list down our given, which is ito, and yung required natin is the P1, then condition niya is yung V2 daw. Ayan. So, given these conditions, so I think we can now solve for the velocity at point 1 kasi wala namang binigay. And in order para makuha to, we will use yung continuity equation natin. Okay? So, the equation will be A1 V1 is equals to A2 V2. Tapos, i-reconstruct lang natin yung equation. And we will get this one. So, plug in yung values na 40 meters per second times 0.5 meters squared divided by 2 meters squared. Makuha na natin yung V1 natin which is 10 meters per second. Right? So, now, meron tayong V1. Recall natin na, eto, dito ngayon papasok yung dinidiscuss ko kanina. So, sir, wala naman sinabi sa problem if it's a low-speed subsonic wind tunnel. Pero binigyan ako ng values ng V2 which is 40 meters per second na below, ito ay ano, below 100 meters per second, therefore it is incompressible. So, this proves na I can use Bernoulli's equation para makuha si P1. Right? So, P1 plus 1 half rho V1 squared and P2 is P2 plus 1 half rho V2 squared. Ganun siya. So, we rearrange the equation, no? So, let's rearrange the equation. Ito siya. P1 is equals to P2 plus 1 half rho. Tapos, multiplied sa quantities ng V2 squared minus V1 squared. So, ito, dinerive ko lang to, no? So, ayun. Dahil nakuha ko na yung working equation ko, I plug in the values, 101,325 Newton over meter squared plus 1 half times yung density, which is 1.225. Then, multiplied dun sa dalawang velocity ko na 40 meters per second squared at 10 meters per second squared. And then, I will get already the value na P1 is equals to 102,243.75 pascals or newtons per meter squared. That is the value ng point 1 para makapag-produce ng velocity na 40 meters per second sa test section natin. Alright? So, ang kulang na lang natin na susunod is, before tayo mag-proceed dun, let's check kung tama. Okay? So, using yung equation for V2, so dapat ang lalabas natin is 40 meters per second. Tama? So, i-solve natin siya. Substitute natin yung values. Meron kang P1, meron kang P2. Subtract mo. Tapos, density and yung area natin for both um, points. And you will get a value now 40 meters per second. Therefore, the answer is correct and valid. Okay? Now, nakuha na natin si pressure required. Kunin na natin si mass flow. So, si mass flow naman is very simple lang. No? So, rho A to V2, ito lang siya. So, 1.225 times 0.5 times 40 meters per second, and we will get 24.5. Now, sir, bakit sa V2? And sa A, bakit sa point 2? Now, you can solve also for point 1 para ma-check kung tama sila. And it will render the same answer naman. Supposedly, kung tama yung answers nyo. Pero, in reality, that is what we expect. That is as expected na dapat pareha sila. Right? So, that is it for this problem. Nakuha na natin si P1 and nakuha na din natin si mass flow. So, ganyan lang siya kadali. No? It the problem falls under heavy sa analysis. Sa pagbabasa ng question, sa paglilista ng given, sa pagpili ng standard units, no? And, I mean, alam nyo naman yung equation eh, no? You will have no problem sa solving if napaganon siya. Napag, pang familiar na kayo, ganun. So, I suggest din na mag-practice. Right? So, madaming problems na ganito sa reference book natin. Yung Intro to Flight by J. Anderson. So, ayun. You can check there for problems, solutions. And, kasi ito, guys, this is already, hindi siya enough eh. If you know the process, if you know the steps, it's not enough. Kasi, it falls under, paano ka mag-execute, no? So, I recommend everyone to please practice. And I will, I'll try my best. Sige, I'll try my best para mag-provide ng bagong set of problems for this one. No? Alright? So, this marks as the end of this marks as the end of our module 1. Sorry, module 1. Module 2, which is Basic Aerodynamic Principles, part 1. For our next topic, we will have Basic Aerodynamic Principles, part 2. So sa part 2, we will be covering, I think, measurement of air speeds as well as viscous flow. No? So that will be for another video since medyo mahaba na tong video na to. And if meron hindi naintindihan, you can always reach out sa akin. And if may concept na kailangan ulitin, you can go back sa video, repeat it. And if hindi talaga kaya, hindi magets, you can always approach me. Right? You can always send me an email or a message and I will gladly help. Right? So, thank you very much, everyone. And this will be the end of our video for now. So, I will see you all on our next video or in our next meeting. All right? So, goodbye and stay safe.